What's up, Royal Family? It's your boy Joe B, aka your big brother Chicago Rilla, and you are tuned in to the King Minded Podcast. Here this morning, we got this segment called King's Corner. It's the podcast where we dive into deep issues that shape our urban communities. I'm your host, Joseph, and today we're discussing a significant development in Chicago. Mayor Brandon Johnson recently approved a $300 million property tax hike. Man, if inflation ain't already bad, right? This decision has sparked a lot of controversy, especially around the impact on the inner cities and communities around the city of Chicago. So, man, it's tough, man. This is tough for the city, y'all. So, Mayor Johnson's decision to raise property taxes comes as a response to nearly $1 billion budget shortfall for 2025. We're not gonna even bring up the subject at hand, but we already know what the vibes is right here, right? Because at the end of the day, we got a crisis on our hands, right? And this is the crisis that, President Trump and others are speaking out about, you know what I'm saying? And this is not a political conversation, really. It's more so just for the awareness. But this migrant problem has become a major issue in the city. Major issue in the city. And you got to think about how this is impacting our low-income communities. It ain't just the black ones. It's not just black people. It's all different types of our races and ethnicities across the city. A lot of people are impacted by the shortfalls that has been happening in the budget for the city. So this is the largest tax increase since former Mayor Rahm Emanuel's $588 million increase in 2015. Yikes. And you think about it like, man, back in 2015, man, he did have a major hike in the city as far as their property tax increase. So first thing, let's understand the tax hike. So what does $300 million property tax hike mean for Chicagoans? All right, so essentially it means higher costs for homeowners, landlords, and other property owners. For inner city families who are often already struggling with financial burdens, the average homeowner could see their property tax bill rise significantly, adding to the financial strain that we already are feeling across the country. Man, this tough.
The problem is, he's a tough man, but he's never had the option to not be tough. He's always had to choose strength in every situation he finds himself in. Sometimes being tough is a burden for him. So many people are counting on him to be tough in hard situations, because he is who they lean on.
And it make you start to think like, man, is our leaders really for us, or are they for themselves? Are they really helping the people? How are you helping the community and you raising the taxes in the community of people that's probably already behind in taxes or already can't keep up with the cost of living and so on and so forth? How can that seem like the logical thing to do? I don't understand it. Like, how does that logically make sense? Like, so that means over 2,400 police officers, they could possibly get their jobs cut. 150 plus sanitation workers that clean our city streets, they could possibly get their jobs cut. Over 600 firefighters across the city will get their jobs cut. And again, I'm not big into politics, but I wanted to speak on the subject because it's just like, yo, come on now. People are feeling it. They feeling it. So we're going to talk about the impact on the inner city families, right? So inner city families are already likely to feel this brunt of this tax hike. Many of these families are already dealing with high living costs and increase in property taxes and can exacerbate their financial difficulties. Man, higher property taxes can lead to increased rent for those who don't even own their home. Many of us rent already. So as landlords pass on the additional cost to the tenants, it's going to be a major struggle for our people. I don't agree with it. I definitely don't agree with it because I don't understand, like, how can you continue to raise these prices? People, how are you raising rent up, right? And you ain't did no upgrades on the property. You ain't did no upgrades on the apartments. People probably still living in, got mold in the ceiling or in drywall from, roof leaks and so on and so forth. How can we raise the taxes right now, y'all? This gonna make it even harder for families to make ends meet. So let's take a look at the bigger picture, right? So it's important to understand the broader implications of this tax hike, right? So while the immediate impact is financial, there are also long-term effects to consider. High property taxes can deter potential investors and entrepreneurs from establishing roots in community, which can lead to fewer job opportunities and slower economic growth. So, man, we think that this is solving a problem, but this is really going to have a long-term impact on the longevity of our communities, of our families that's in our low-income communities. I would love to be a fly on the wall at the next city hall meeting, man. They about to go crazy. Because it's just just unnecessary, I feel like. Especially in this day and age and in this time right now, we can't afford nothing else to go back up. You know what I'm saying? But I trust God. He gonna make a way for all our people, especially those in the city. But man, this is gonna create a cycle of economic hardship that is difficult to break. So I'm thinking about, like, as a community, how can we respond and support, right? So in response to this tax hike, community organizations and leaders are stepping up to provide support and advocate for those affected. It's crucial for residents to stay informed and engaged and seek out resources that can help mitigate the impact of these increased costs. Programs that offer financial assistance, housing support, and community development can play a vital role in helping families navigate these changes. As we wrap up today's episode, and these are just my thoughts, let's remember that while this property tax hike presents significant challenges for our communities, it's also an opportunity for us to come together as a community. By supporting one another and advocating for fair policies, we can work towards a more equitable future for all Chicagoans. Thank you for tuning in to the King's Corner. Stay informed, stay engaged, and let's continue to lift each other up. Until we meet again, this is the King Minded Podcast. I'm your host, Joe B, a.k.a. your big brother Chicago Realist. Check us out on our social media platforms at King Minded Podcast, King Minded Media. We would love to hear feedback from you guys. Like, share, and subscribe to the movement. You guys be safe out here. God bless. Peace.